In this video, you will learn how you can customize the metadata that will be rendered by social media sites or chat applications like this. Ahoy, my dear cypherpunks, and welcome back to episode 12 of building the OpenSource-Odyssey website. In this episode, we will tackle metadata. We will generate metadata for all of our pages. First up, what is metadata? Basically, it's information about data. So when we have a post, for example, a website where we have a video, for example, this video right here, and you want to share this with your friends because it's so amazing, you paste the link into your chat application or on Twitter/X, on Facebook, whatever. And then usually some image appears, some title appears, and some description. And this is exactly what the metadata is. So it's some information about the page that the viewer can expect when they click on the link. And ideally, it would give some kind of teaser, attention grabber to incentivize the user to click on the link. And currently, our metadata is not quite there yet. There are some tools online. For example, here I am on Opengraph XYZ, where we can paste a URL, for example, the URL to our website, and we can then view how a chat application or social media site would display the information. Wow! So here, for example, would be the title. I did some customization there, so this is great, but we still have some remnant from Payload. And of course, this looks super unprofessional and should definitely be gone by the end of the video. Then we have some description. This is great, I guess. And we have some broken images. And when I inspected these images, the reason why they are broken is because they refer to the website template image that we removed from our public folder. So this website template OG WebP does no longer exist. And therefore, of course, this is broken. So we want to fix all of these issues and improve our website so it's even more shareable and addictive. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Metadata, since we are using a NextJS application, we would go to the NextJS documentation about metadata. So here, for example, they say, yeah, you can just export a variable called metadata from your page TSX or layout TSX, and it will appear either on that page or on all of the pages wrapped with the layout. You can also have a dynamic metadata where, for example, if we have the title of the post and we want to have that displayed, we can also do it by creating a function called generate metadata that in the end will return a metadata object for Next.js. So this will include a title, some Opengraph information, and so on and so forth. However, we are also using PayloadCMS, and for Payload, there's also documentation on how to handle metadata. However, this is only regarding the admin panel. So this is nothing that really we need to worry about. We'll do it nonetheless, but normally these are not links that we'll be sharing on social media. All right, let's tackle the admin metadata first, though, just to get our hands dirty a little bit. Hey, go on. By viewing the documentation here on PayloadCMS, we can see that the metadata for the admin panel, so this is all of pages contained in the admin panel, we can do in the payload config by adding a meta key to our admin object and then having this information right here. So I'll copy this. Now let's go to our payload config in the project, go to the admin area, and here we can already see that there are some things that we customized, like the icons. But now we want to customize even more. I'm just going to paste it down here for now and clean this up a little bit. So this goes into here. The icon, let's remove this. We already have it. Then let's sort this a little bit. So maybe the title is on top. Cool. Let's say the title here is OpenSource-Odyssey. Nothing special about this. Here, I mean, this is purely for us. There's nobody really that will be sharing this link. All right, I was not really creative there. Just reading through a few of the options that we have here. For example, the default Opengraph image type, we can set to dynamic, which is the default, static or off. And I believe I want to set this to static so I can manage it myself. And then we'll just have one kind of cool looking image that we can always display when the admin link would be shared. Let's also customize the title suffix here. Let's say title suffix, and this should also be OpenSource-Odyssey. Great. So let's give this a quick commit. And let's move on to the next topic, which is the collection metadata. I just wanted to mention it that alongside your root metadata, you can also have metadata for individual collections. I think I will skip this one. As I said before, admin is not something that will be shared. I can only access it, and so let's just leave it as it is. But nevertheless, if you have an admin area where your, for example, clients are logging on, then this could definitely be something that you want to customize. Now, let's jump to the actual front end. So this is the pages that will be shared, and this is done in Payload. We can go to generate meta, which is a file that is automatically coming with our website template that we chose on initialization of the project. And here we have two functions. One is to get the image URL for the metadata image, and the other one is the generate meta function, where we will return the meta for Next.js, and then this will be the metadata. All right, first up, this is the culprit that in the browser I just showed you, we are not seeing an image. We don't have in our public folder this image anymore. So website template OG does not exist. So let's choose a different image that we could always render when somebody is just pointing to a page that has no particular image itself. So I think we can go with, for example, this right here for a at least temporary placeholder for our default image. Let's enter this image right here. It would be primary light green SVG. So whenever we call the getImageURL function, we can optionally provide an image argument, which is either of the media type, so from our media collection, or from the default ID type in our DB, I guess. Then we get the URL for our server. We construct the server URL. We check what type of argument we actually received, and then in the end, we return the image. Great. I think this should work for now. Now let's come into the generate meta function down here. So here we are getting our image. If we don't provide an image, so we are passing a document, which is either a partial of a page or the partial of a post or nothing at all. Then we try to get the image from that document. And again, if there is no image, we'll just get the default that I just provided. And then we'll construct the title. And this is where our pesky little thing comes in. I'll just remove this entire thing. So either we have a title, then we want to use the title, or we'll use whatever this string is. And here I'll say OpenSource-Odyssey, just like this. And here, little trick, we can do this even shorter with JavaScript syntax. If we provide a double question mark, then we can just write it like this. So whenever this evaluates to something truthy, we'll take whatever this resolves to. And if this is a falsy value like null or undefined, then we will use this one. Great. And then we provide the description from also our document if we have one. We merge the Opengraph data, and then we provide also the slug here to the page. Let's jump into this merge Opengraph. All right. And here we have some more defaults. So the default Opengraph, we say, okay, we are of type website. This is great. An open source website built with Payload and Next.js. Technically true, but not the thing that we want to have here. So let's go back to the browser and just yoink whatever I already have. The step towards digital freedom sounds like a good catchline to me. Here we can also replace our image again. I'm going to do it side by side because I'm lazy. I'm just gonna take this path right here, then replace it like this. And again, we have the site name and title. Both of these should be Open Source Odyssey, I guess. Great. This is looking much better. Give it a save, and let's commit these changes. Just a quick text search to see where else we have this payload website template. It's littered throughout our website. So we have 4 more occurrences. right here in the plugins, we'll do the same thing we did before. So here, generate title plugins. What is this used for? So this is used in the SEO plugin. I think you've seen me once or twice in the video before last, where I was adding all of the content. I always had to remove the payload website template string from the title. And this is exactly where this was coming from. So here we want to have the document, like if you click the button to generate the title, then this should be OpenSource-Odyssey. If the document doesn't have a title, then we'll do the same thing regardless. All right, let's look for the template again. So here on the search page, we have it website template search. So this should be OpenSource-Odyssey search. And this is exactly what I was showing you before in the Next.js documentation. On the search page, we have our own generate metadata function that will just return this as the title. Same goes for the posts. So OpenSource-Odyssey posts. We'll have the URL as posts, so we'll just refer to it as posts. And then final one in the numbered pages for the posts. All right. And let's commit these changes as well. Here I am in the layout TSX for our entire front end. So this will wrap all of our pages. And here we can see that we are getting the base for our metadata with the server URL. And we also get the default Opengraph information that we just adjusted. And let's also adjust here the add PayloadCMS to Odysseus. So here I am on the detailed page for each post. We are generating dynamic metadata again for each post. So we are querying the post by its slug, running through this function right here. And then we are passing the document we fetched to our generate meta function. We looked at this before, just again. So here we have the document, we'll resolve the image, we'll resolve the title, and so on and so forth, and then return the metadata. So let's also commit this. Metadata, update creator. And I guess we can then check off our to-do item here and give it this readme also commit. Now we want to test our changes live, and for that I have to do a deployment. So let's push our changes. Here I am on the remote machine, so the server that is hosting our application for the internet. Let's do a quick deployment by going into the OpenSource-Odyssey folder, pulling the changes. Great. Now let's make sure we have everything installed. I'm not sure if I installed something since the last time. Everything is installed. Let's build the application. And hopefully this will not give us any errors and we can just move on. Great, the build process was successful. We have our new website built. Now we just need to replace it in our PM2 runner. If I check the current PM2 tab, then we have the website currently running. We need to kill this. So let's say delete 0 for the ID of this process. Now I have no process running and I can again bring it up by executing the PM2 start ecosystem config. And now our updated deployed website is on the internet. Let's check it out. So fingers crossed, hopefully this will work. Check the website. All right, and the check ran, so we can see something did happen. We no longer have this trailing payload website template at the end, which is great. However, the images are still not loading. Let's check out what is wrong with this. Open the developer tools and go to inspect this page item. So this is in theory looking good. I mean, I'm referring to the right image, but silly me, I forgot to add another path item. If we take a look in the publics folder, I should have referenced the logos folder as well. That's on me. Let's correct this really quick. Hop into the generate meta function file. And in here, let's add logos at the front. Let's also do a full text search for this string right here. And here we have it also in our Opengraph function. So we will also correct it here. Great. Commit these changes, push the changes, pull the changes, build the new website again.
6 months later.
With the website being built, let's check our PM2 process again, delete the 0id process, and let's restart the process. Come back to our browser and drum roll. Woohoo! The image is there. I have to admit it's looking terrible, probably because the dimensions are way out of bounds. I mean, okay, I'm gonna leave it like this for now, but there's definitely some area to improve here with a nicer looking image, probably more of the dimension 16 by 10 or 16 by 9, but whatever.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Proof of concept is in the pudding, so this is how you customize your title, description, and image for a website. So thank you so much for watching this video. You learned how you can customize your metadata for a PayloadCMS NextJS application. Why don't you give this a try and paste a link to OpenSource-Odyssey in the chat of your best friend to show them this amazing content and get their opinion about it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So just share opensource-odyssey.net and I'll see you in the next video. Onwards, cypherpunks.